Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach. On this channel, I mainly review quote geek things, superheroes and sci-fi. And one of the things people always recommend to me is this TV show called Legion. Now, you probably guessed from the thumbnail that I'm not reviewing Legion because I looked for Legion and apparently I can only get it on Hulu, and I'm already paying for 3 streaming services: Netflix, Amazon Prime Video. Well, technically, I just paid for Amazon Prime. You know what I mean. And then CBS All Access, and it's it's not the money, it's the principle of the matter. We had basic cable 10 years ago, and it was $100, and then everyone started cutting the cord, and then they started getting Netflix, but now it's slowly creeping back. I mean, you put those three together, I mean, it's still not only $30, but still, it really bothered me. So anyway, while looking for it, I saw this movie called Legion, which I kind of sort of remembered, and I just watched it. I just finished it 1 minute ago, and it's very strange because I cannot tell you if I've seen this movie before, even after finishing the entire thing. So, for most of my adult life, I've been very, very poor, like Coinstar poor. And if you don't know Coinstar, then you're not poor. You've never been poor. Which means that back in the day, every movie I would watch in theaters, always at a matinee, or even at at a freaking Redbox, or even when I had the old Blockbuster subscription, every single thing was like a decision, and I thought about it and I considered it. So every single movie I've ever seen, I remember seeing it. For the most part, some exceptions. And I still can't tell you if I saw this. I think I might have seen the beginning, but I'm still not sure. And the reason is this: the movie's good. It's good. I'm glad I watched it, but it is so close to not being bad, but being not good. Like, it's almost as if they said, "Let's make a movie that will play on a TV in the background while you get into your hotel room and you just turn on the TV and you start unpacking. Maybe you got to go to the bathroom, a shower, and meanwhile you're kind of walking in front of the TV and you look at it and you go, oh, they're in a diner. Oh, I think these are the main characters. Like, I don't think another thing related to being poor and how every movie being some kind of big decision was that even on watching at home, I watch it like 100% concentrated. I always have the closed caption on because I got a little bit of low end hearing loss from my days in the Marines, but mainly it's just because I don't want to miss a single thing. This is like it really didn't reward paying close attention. This is a movie that you're not supposed to watch directly. It's supposed to be on in the room. Maybe you're even cleaning. Maybe you're even doing spring cleaning. It's playing on the big TV in the living room, and you can kind of hear it in the kitchen. You can hear it down the hall. It's kind of going into your brain. You might vacuum, and you might say, should I pause it? Or, I'm only going to vacuum for like 5 minutes. I'll just let it play, and I'll look over every now and then. So Legion is... Oh, and the other thing about Legion that's weird is that there's this movie called Priest, which came out the next year with the same lead, with the same director, and with one of the same co-writers. And I've always kind of melded those two together in my head. So when I started watching Legion, I thought it was Priest. I thought it was going to be like this team of supernatural fighters, and no, it wasn't. So it's very, very simple. The other thing about this is, not only was this movie supposedly or seemingly made to not pay attention to it, but it is completely off the shelf. By which I mean, imagine like a Fry's, the electronics computer store. And you know how they have like normie stuff, but then they also have stuff for hobbyists. And I want you to imagine all of these off-the-shelf characters you've seen in a million other things. Off-the-shelf character arcs, the old vet who doesn't want to fight no more, stuff like that. And then dialogue, literally lines of dialogue you have heard in 1,000 other things. And then give it a small-ish but weirdly larger than it seems budget. Sometimes you say, oh, that movie was amazing. That must cost, $300 million. You're like, oh, 130. Wow, they really stretched their bucks. I looked this up. I thought this thing was going to be like 10 million. It was $27 million 10 years ago. I was like, oh, it does not look like $27 million. This looks like sci-fi original movie. So it's about Paul Bettany plays the Archangel Michael. He comes down to Earth. He cuts off his wings, and it's all like that blue tinged, Catherine Bigelow. That's why I confused it with Priest, because all of the trailers for Priest have that look. And then it goes to the desert, and it's all desert stuff. And it also reminded me of a movie I haven't seen, which is weird. But Project Greenlight was a show like 10 years ago. I think they brought it back a couple times. It was Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and they would give filmmakers, I was going to say young filmmakers, but they had this guy, John Gulager, who was like 47. I just looked it up. I didn't remember that from 15 years ago. I looked it up. I remember having a huge crush on his wife, Diane Ayala Goldner. I just looked that up too. That would be creepy if I remembered her whole name 15 years later. But it was season 3, and they did this movie called Feast, and it was, it was one of those things. It's like, we don't have a big budget. We want to do some horror, gore, shoot 'em up. So let's set it all in a diner. And this is the same thing, and it was 5 years later. So I think there was some influence. It's also very much of a movie of its time during the DVD blockbuster boom. So you would have a lot of, straight to DVD. Right now they have straight to Netflix. But if a movie did remotely okay, it would get 2 sequels. Now the funny thing is that usually the first one that did okay, it would have some actors you've heard of, and then they would all be gone for the second one because they wanted to make it cheaper. And by the third, it was just a bunch of nobodies, and maybe like the sidekick from the first movie was the main hero of the third one. Like, it's just really, really cheap. So it reminded me, it was kind of at the end of, Blockbuster being a thing, but it was definitely made for Blockbuster video stores. So it's the apocalypse. God has lost faith in humanity. So instead of creating a flood to make the earth clean, he just sends his angels. Although I looked it up on Wikipedia, and there was a sequel TV show like 5 years later, and it looks like God didn't expressly say like cleanse the earth. He just kind of went absent, and this lower tier of angels decided that was what he wanted and went down there and started. So they have Michael Paul Bettany, who's really good. Like I said, they kind of tried to. Paul Bettany is a very interesting guy, and I even read this article a couple years ago where it says before he got the role as a Vision, he was the voice of Jarvis, but on Iron Man 1 and 2. But before he got the role of Vision, he was just about to like quit acting. He didn't have any money, and he wasn't getting any good roles. He's this weird kind of he's English, and he's got a very nice voice, and he's a good actor, but he's like really fit. So it's like he's not an action star, although he's fine in action scenes, but he's not really a drama guy. He's not a comedy guy. He doesn't really have a mold, that he fits into. But he was really, really good. And so he comes down to Earth. He cuts his wings off. He has like this collar, and he breaks that off, and then like a little halo appears. It's nice. It's fine. But then the rest of it, he's just a guy in a trench coat shooting guns, fully automatic guns. It's kind of dumb. So then there's a truck stop with like 6 or 7 off the shelf characters. So one of the things when like the whole time I'm watching, I was like, have I seen this movie or not? It seems familiar, and then it doesn't. And then I remembered the trailer for it was actually a pretty popular trailer, and the trailer for it was in front of freaking every movie for like a year. Because this is one of those movies where they filmed it like 2 years before it came out, and it doesn't have a lot of effects. You don't need like a year of post-production and special effects. So I think it was probably maybe supposed to come out earlier. So, oh my gosh, they showed that trailer in front of freaking everything. So there's some really good trailer moments. There's this old lady who first seems nice, and then she's like, your baby's gonna burn. You're all gonna burn. And then she ends up like crawling up on the ceiling and freaking everyone out. And then there's this ice cream man played by Doug Jones. And that's kind of, but he's like barely in it. He just does like one scene and he scampers away. So it was one of those movies that had a pretty awesome trailer, and then you get it, and it's just really, well, it's not low budget, but it seems low budget. So you get, oh, all the people in the diner are different, but they're gonna come together, except for some people are gonna get killed, and then they're getting surrounded, and they're just shooting, they're just shooting like freaking full auto M16. I guess it would have been like an M16A1 from the hip with like unlimited ammo, and it's okay. The whole middle part just gets stupid. So then, but the thing is, usually when a story is so cookie cutter, so by the numbers, like it starts to bother you. But this one didn't. It felt like a cookie cutter movie was probably the best these filmmakers could do. By the way, the cast was excellent. Cast was amazing. I mean, that's probably where the whole budget went. They had Adrienne Palicki, and like she looks like a baby. She's got all this baby fat in her cheeks. They got what's his name from Tokyo Drift. They got Willa Holland from Arrow. They got Charles S. Dutton. They got Doug Jones. They got Paul Bettany, and then they got Dennis Quaid. Like it's a freaking good, really good cast. And then it's just it becomes like just some generic episode of like Tales from the Crypt or something like that. There's no real twists, and the thing is like I actually got really frustrated with the angels because they have a fight with Gabriel and Michael, and they're talking about like Michael is very up on humanity. He really believes in them. And the angels are kind of going along with what they think God is, and they're like, well, he lost faith and we never liked you anyway. But he's talking about, he's like, I was there when the first man is like, oh, okay, so you're really, really old. So you must be very durable. So one time he gets like slashed on his stomach and he's like, ugh. And I'm like, okay, I know you cut your wings off, but I never got the idea that you were fully immortal. And these seem like fairly minor wounds. Like you could almost just go to urgent care and take care of this stuff. And then also they have the archangel. No, yeah, Gabriel is the bad one, and then he's like just getting in this almost like WWE style fight. And one time, like the Dennis Quaid turns on the gas and blows up the diner, and you're like, they kind of imply he's dead, but I was like, he's an angel. He's like a billion years old. He'd have to be pretty durable, I don't think. I feel like a nuke would kill an angel, I don't feel like a grenade or an exploding diner or anything like that. But then they do this thing where they spend like the last 15 minutes like really, really setting up a sequel movie, which weirdly enough didn't. I think it was because just the first one had too high of a budget. But that was the model back then, was that the second one had like Adrian Pasdar as the villain, and like that was like the only person you would recognize, and everyone else would be a bunch of nobodies. And you would even like recast roles, which looks like what they did for the TV show. But overall, it was fine. I asked a lot of people in a video yesterday in the comments. They were saying, they go, yeah, Legion is okay, but Priest, if you like comics, Priest is a lot better. It's an adaptation of I believe a Korean manhwa, and as long as I don't have to pay a stupid amount of money. It's weird. Sometimes you just go look up some trash movie and the only option is to buy it for $14.99. Like I tried to find the latest Underworld movie, which I had Movie Pass. I just kept forgetting to see it when it was out in theaters. And I could only find it to buy for $14.99. Jehoshaphat. So I'll probably check out Priest. But I really want to check out Legion, but I really don't want to get Hulu, and everyone says, "Oh, get the free, 6-day trial," but you always forget, and then you get charged. Oh my God, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. Anyway, so thanks for watching. Oh wait, that's my stuff from my other channel. Thanks for watching. I'll have another video tomorrow, probably. Bye.